Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sound Test Room. Today, I am very pleased to announce Celestine from Ian Johnson. Ian is a creator of many Max for Live devices, of which Celestine Granular Effects is one of those. Let me just quickly open it up here like this. No, so this is a pre-release, okay? So it's expected in a couple of days on Friday, I think, at the 29th of May. So you can actually go and pre-order it if you want to, and I know lots of people have. And I know lots of people are very excited about this release because this granular engine is epic. You can do so many cool things. So it runs in the effects slot, for example, right? And I have got quite a few things to show you running on. So I will also put a link in to Ian's descriptive video where he goes through what all the modes mean, big deep detail sort of thing, what all the effects are and stuff, and how it all works, right? But this will be more of a look, if we move this it does this, and if you do this it does that. You also can save your own presets, etc. You can resize this perfect. Now Ian spent a lot of work on this. He is a very conscientious developer, I kid you not. He really is. And he'll if you give him an idea and he can implement it and he thinks it's good, he'll do it. He'll put it in. So this has been around for a while now as a Max for Live device for Ableton, of course, and now it's been ported. And he also has plans to port his other Max for Live devices, which I think is very exciting. I think that's really great. On this first one here, just let me make sure I'm on the right one. Yep, here we go. This is a play beat, and I'm going to turn the mix down, and I'm just going to play the beat. Yeah. What have I got going on? Have I got it turned down? Yeah, so a kind of industrialist, kind of basic kind of beat, and the preset is called Whitechapel. So let's bring up the mix and see what Celestine does to this. Now you can even hear it just half. It sounds epic. I mean, it's experimental. You've got to love the experimental stuff, you know, so if it's not your vibe, well, there you go, what can I tell you? It is my vibe, so, okay, look, quickly, we've got the move, we can move, this is the playhead, you can see it's moving all over the place. We can change how this behaves, see, speed-wise. Put a bit more mixing. 100% now. Slows the movement down. If we switch this off, so it's not a move, we switch playhead on and we can move it manually. And then we can reverse it, which we might hear better on move. So this is kind of your live input. This end. So this will rewrite the buffer. Okay, you know what I mean. It's taken audio through and it's continually put it into a buffer. If you switch live off, it'll freeze what's already in that buffer. See, no more movement. Then you have the modes here. The modes drastically change the sound. Now Ian explains these really well in this video, but just playing around with it you'll get an idea. This is your grain section. So look, if I play with the grain engine for a sec, got this XY pad here, and it's moving the playhead and the pitch size with this beautiful graphic here. Pitch, spray, jitter, spread. You see, you've got a graphic representation of what's going on. It's pretty cool. Stereo, reverse, and smoothing. so less jittery, of course. Now the sync control is very cool. This works great with rhythmic stuff, or turns anything that's going into the engine kind of rhythmic. How cool was that? Now we can mess with and you can change the speeds. .116 I think sounds really cool. Then you've got Magic. Now these are a 7 like super cool effects. They're on wide at the moment. So chorus just adds a bit of extra madness. Or we can blend. Drift. Shimmer. Now, at the moment, as a pre-release price, you can get Celestine Granular effects for $5.99. It is going to go up, the regular price will go up, but for the first 2 weeks of it actually being on sale, it's $5.99, then the maximum price will be $9.99. So I still think that, stop that much to say. I still think that $9.99 is absolutely well worth it for Celestine, but at $5.99 it's an absolute steal. It really is, because so much work has gone into this, guys. Everything is super smooth. Everything works as you would expect it to work. Ian has released this, making sure it's been tested loads. Okay, loads. So it's awesome stuff. You can do your own presets here, but you've also got your save and your load presets and save as here and all the reset, randomize and stuff. I mean, we could just go random and it'll randomize. God knows what this sound like. Let's randomize again. See, it's just awesome. It's just absolutely epic. Okay, look. I'm going to stop that. Oh, look, let's do this. Let's play. Right, now switch live off. And see it's held in the buffer now. So if I stop the playhead, it's just going to carry on with that buffer and we can continue to manipulate the sound with no playhead running. But as soon as I turn live back on, because the player isn't running, there'll be nothing to record into the buffer. Okay, right, let's us do this. I will turn the volume down for this. I'm going to go into Koala and press play. Where I've made this little dub reggae thing. Okay, that's nice. Got the mix turned down, and I've selected a preset called Dreamfield. Let's go with this. It's such a cool experimental playground. So let's try the tide algorithm. And this ebbs and flows. As you can see, you get like a graphical representation of what's going on. Synth as well. Wide. Let's put it onto spread. You know what? I couldn't even put a guess on the number of different variations you could actually come up with for Celestine. Two different types of pitch mode, which is very cool. And then we can smooth everything out and blend it back in. Now we've got some effects here. We've got the dirt effects, which is instead of brush. And wave fold. And we have a reverb at the end, so let's drown that. Change it to echo. And run the spray. Just epic, and blend it back in. Reverse it, and let's change patch. On blue, let's go to orbit. When that goes. Which is like a reverse. Oh, you'll notice also, we just stop. You'll notice also that some of these, what happens is you'll change the mode and the actual grain controls will change. So for example, look, we've got spray. For on Bloom, it's spray. I'll explain this, but actually we can do this now. I've done that. You've heard it, what it'll do on sort of tracks and drums and things. On this one here, so let me just make sure that I have this down. Yeah, so everyone knows we got a piano sound. Okay, now we can take a real good look at how the different modes affect the sound and what changes in the actual grain engine. That's a bit loud, so as soon as we bring Celestine in, that'll be okay. So grain, we reduce the pitch there. Let's go back to half the pitch. On something like this, sync, it's not as good because it takes, if I play one note, unless this is the effect you're going for, but I like the sync on more of a kind of sustained sound, like rhythmic stuff. Oh, that is quite nice. And Ian says that turning sync on is almost like going to a different variation of the modes. So, and then we have mosaic. Let's see what changes on mosaic. This now changes to palette. I think it might be a good idea to reset the patch. Let's go to mosaic. Just bring my piano in so I can hear what I'm doing. So you can hear what I'm doing on the piano. Okay. Let's look at the palette. So we've got power. Major. I guess this is like chording. Minor. Sus. And yeah, that's it. So that's pretty cool. So let's switch the sync off and go to glide. Oh, that's cool. Now this will sound very, very good with the Mix Zone 4, I think. Take this off reverse. Let's try and glide. Wow. Density. I'll tell you what, so look, there's the DSP is 52 at the moment, and there are 4 Celestines running, 3 limiters. We've got Playbeat, Koala, Piano Tech, and Exosphere running as well, plus my vocal chain, plus the screen recorder. I think that's pretty darn good. Oh, and it's connected to the internet. So all sorts of granular coolness. And, you know, Ian is one of the nicest chaps you'll ever have to deal with. If you ever need to talk to him or you ever, it's a joy. It's not a chore. You know, I'm sure about it because he's on the audio. He's like, it's not the audio. Sorry, he's on the Loopy Pro forum now as well. So he's dead easy to contact there. And like I said, he's really open to suggestions. In fact, he loves it when people give him suggestions. And don't forget, he's new to iOS as well. I think it's marvellous that he's bothering. We're on the init presets, so let's just re-init this then. And look, let's look at some of these magic effects as well. So there's our kind of initial preset. I'll just drop that down a little bit. And look, we've got chorus, which is kind of self-explanatory stuff, right? If you're wearing headphones, you'll hear that immediately. And then we have wide, so let's take the amount down. Let's increase everything as well, a little bit. Including the jitter and the spread. Yeah, it's better. Let's go on to drift. Oh no, sorry, I didn't go wide, did I, with the... You can see it just spreads the stereo field. For the effect. So if I go full and take this down, it'll sum to mono basically. Okay, kind of self-explanatory, that one. Then we have drift. Shimmer. Lovely. Spread, of course, will spread out the effect. Left and right. Yeah, if you're wearing headphones, you'll hear that much better. Like Bucket Brigade. And then we have swell. Awesome stuff. And last but not least, I have it on this Exosphere. So yeah, we're mixed down preset I'm starting, which is quartz ratchet, and I'm just going to bring up the level for Exosphere on this particular patch. Now on this type of thing, you know, this is brilliant. This Exosphere will just play if I change to another preset. So this is awesome, and this is perfect for this kind of thing because it's already super experimental Exosphere. Driving it through Celestine is going to come up with some. This is the type of thing you'd use it on if you love this kind of music, experimental, ambient, you know, soundtracky, all that kind of stuff. Very, very nice, right? So let's bring it in Celestine. And it's synced, this patch, in particular this quartz ratchet one. It's great because it's got audio constantly running through. Now what I'm going to do is slap a bit of gain in there. Now, let's start to manipulate the sound a little bit. Put it on glide. Let's put this on shim. Seriously, how cool is that? And we can blend, of course. And it's going to sound great because this is the same kind of thing. Let's randomize. On this sort of sound, randomizing Celestine is never going to sound bad. And if you come up with a randomized patch you like, you can just go in and save the patch, you know, to something like what we got here. It's quartz ratchet. Now I'll call it. How can I get the keyboard back now? I don't think I can. I'll have to. Open it up again and drag Celestine up so I can see what I'm doing. So I'll call this Exosphere. So I know that I've just saved it as a new patch. So save. Let's put there it is there. You'll find it in your user patches down here. It's my Exosphere. But I'm going to go and change the patch. Right, gang, if you've watched this, let me just turn the volume down a little bit for you. All like that. It's brilliant Exosphere. If you've watched this Vera premiere, thank you very, very much. It's much appreciated. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you all rush off and pre-order Celestine. And help Ian out here because he's going to be porting others stuff over as well, and I think he's going to do very well on iOS because he spent a lot of time and attention getting this absolutely spot on. You know, like I said, you know, you've got the resize and it's just perfect, no messing around there. It's really, really good. Anyway, and if you're familiar, of course, it's like I'm familiar with Ableton because this is where I first come across Ian and got talking to him and stuff. And I think I did, I might have done a couple. I've definitely done Auger, which there. But they're very reasonably priced in Ableton as well. They're not like really expensive apps, you know. They're really good. It's really, really, really interesting guy as well, you know. He does this to support his family and stuff, you know, so it's really good. But he is He's really good at this stuff. It's perfect, you know. I'm just really pleased that he's come to iOS, because, you know, we need stuff like this. Anyway, before I go, I'm going to play a few more presets. I'm messing around with a few more controls, of course, and I will see you later. Thank you so much. Please strike the like, subscribe to the channel. Please consider becoming a Patreon or making a super chat or a one-off donation. It's obviously how we survive here at the Sound Test Room, for community support. So we do appreciate it very, very, very much. And I would ask Jo, but she has gone shopping early because it's red hot here today. It's roasting. It's not pleasant when it's this hot. Okay, gang, bless you all. Thank you very much. And thanks to Ian for making such a very, very cool app. See you later. Ta-da.